übergebe jetzt das Wort an Rabbiner Jacobson und freue mich auf seinen Vortrag.
What then is the mystery of this ancient Jewish custom, ritual, mitzvah, commandment, dating back 3,320 years, initiated here today, called mikvah. A Jewish couple was celebrating its 50th anniversary. At the feast, the woman stands up and says, I want to make a toast to myself for sticking it out with him for 50 years. A toast to him for sticking it out with me for 50 years. And I want to tell you that the 50 years of our marriage have passed like 2 days. People were moved. What a beautiful relationship. 50 years, a Jewish couple, not only are they on speaking terms, but it just flew by like 2 days. Wow. Imagine, there was one nudnik in the crowd. So at the anniversary feast, the nudnik raises his hand and says, excuse me, madame, why do you say that your marriage 50 years passed like 2 days? Why don't you say it went by like 1 day? I told you, a nudnik. She says, because our relationship for 50 years has been like 2 days. Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur. Those are the two toughest days in the Jewish calendar, my dear friend. Articulated in the right to left vision. During 4,000 years of Jewish history, there was something the Torah, the rabbis, the sages, the leaders understood. Why is the Jewish family still strong today? There were certain secrets they understood. And we, who pride ourselves on being intelligent and educated and sophisticated and part of the blessed elements of modernity, ought to embrace the blessings of modernity, not to deprive ourselves from certain ingredients that your great-great-grandmother and my great-great-grandmother and your great-great-grandfather knew, and they passed it on through the chicken soup, through the gefilte fish, through the arguments, through the conversations, through the engaging each other, through the songs. And one of those ingredients has to do with two components of a relationship. Each couple wants to be their spouse's best friend. Your wife wants you to be her best friend. Your husband wants to be your best friend. Like good friends who have a relationship. And yet each couple also wants a fiery, passionate, enthusiastic relationship. We call one type of relationship fire-like love and the other water-like love. Water is calm. Water is placid. Wasser is ruhig. It flows nicely and silently. Still waters run deep. Fire is never calm. Fire is always burning, consuming, intense, rising, trying to depart from the wick. There are two types of relationships in couples. There are couples, you look at them, there's fire, there's electricity. In the bedroom there's electricity, in their union there's electricity, but when they get into a fight, oy vavoy, the same fire that they had last night, now the next day they get into a fight and they start blaming each other. It's fire! Fire se brennt, se flackert. That's one type of relationship. And then there's a relationship like water. Like two good friends. You're not married, but you can rely on each other. You go out sometimes to the movies, to shopping, to a restaurant, to play golf. Spielt Golf in Deutschland? Together with their mikveh will dry up. And yet, even in those years, for the Jews who could, they never let go of the mikveh. And somebody who wonders, is the mikveh really powerful? Look, a few decades later, a few short decades later, in this city, this community is sitting this Sunday afternoon and celebrating a new, beautiful mikveh to continue the rejuvenation, Jew as in J-E-W, of Jewish marriages, of Jewish sexuality, of Jewish intimacy, of new Jewish life. You're looking for miracles. I can only imagine those of us here in the room or around the city who will embrace this great opportunity of using the mikveh. When the holy women of Berlin will go down into the water, going back to where it all began. I can imagine, I can see you connecting with hundreds of generations of your mother and grandmother and great-grandmother and great-great-grandmother all the way back to Sarah, who are in heaven and will stand over the mikveh. Hooray, hooray, they will shout. The people lives, the spirit lives, the innocence lives, and the ability to bring purity and holiness into the world lives. The last few nights, and so, my dear friends, on this great day, as your husbands and your wives together we prepare to live and renew life through the mikveh, I bless you that your relationships for the next 50 years and for the 50 years afterwards should pass like 2 days, like Purim and Simchas Torah. Thank you very much.